Hi friends, how are you all? Today we'll talk about active voice and passive voice in English grammar. Now friends, active voice, passive voice, these terms are so frightening. If I give you the definition in the very beginning, then maybe you will run away and you might think, oh my god, this is so complicated. So I will not begin with the beginning. That is, I will not give you the definition first. Yes friends, first I will give you some examples so that you understand, that active voice and passive voice, they are so simple. You have been using them every day, almost every day, and there is nothing to get scared at all. Yes, so first I'll begin with certain examples, and after that I will give you the definition which will enable you to relate to this concept in English grammar so easily, and you'll be able to relate to that concept. Yes friends, so let us look at some examples. Friends, do subscribe to this channel on English, and on spoken English, especially or English grammar. So, and share this video. So friends, I'll give you some example. The first example, he gave me a book. Okay friends, this is a simple sentence. What is the sentence? He gave me a book. Alright? Now, friends, this sentence, do you have any idea whether it is in the active voice or passive voice? Maybe you guessed it. It is in the active voice. He gave me a book. Very simple. Now, suppose if I tell you, convert this sentence into the passive voice, then what will be your answer? It will be so simple, friends. It is so easy to convert this sentence which is in the active voice into a sentence in the passive voice. It is so easy. How will you convert that? I'll tell you. Now, what was the question? He gave me a book. This sentence is in the active voice. The sentence in the passive voice will be, I was given a book by him. I was given a book by him. Or you can also say, a book was given to me by him. So friends, can you imagine how easy is that? I mean, you keep using such constructions. Yes, even in your day-to-day life, but we don't realize whether it was in the active or passive voice. So don't get scared of these terms. I'll give you a few more examples and it will be very clear to you. Friends, I wrote a letter yesterday, or I wrote the letter yesterday. This is a sentence. This sentence is in the active voice. How will you convert it to the passive voice? Yes, friends? The letter was written by me yesterday. The letter was written by me yesterday. Can you see, friends, how simple that is? That is so simple, isn't it? So in the active form, it is, I wrote the letter yesterday. This is the sentence in the active voice. Now, the sentence in the passive voice will be, a letter was written by me yesterday. The letter was written by me yesterday. So, I have now begun the sentence with the letter. The letter was written by me yesterday. So this is the passive voice. This is a sentence in the passive voice. How simple that is. Now friends, I'll give you one more example. So, he taught us English grammar. He taught us English grammar. We were taught English grammar by him. We were taught English grammar by him. So friends, this is that easy, and I'm sure you are, definitely with me, and you have got there. So one more example, let me give you. I wrote a letter and posted that last week. I wrote a letter and posted that last week. Now convert this into the passive form. A letter was written by me and posted last week. I wrote a letter and posted that last week. I wrote a letter and posted that last week. A letter was written by me and posted last week. That is the passive form. Let me give you a very simple example. He threw the ball at me. He threw the ball at me. This is a sentence in the active voice. How will you convert it into the passive voice? The ball was thrown at me by him. The ball was thrown at me by him. Okay. The child loves chocolate. This is a sentence in the active voice. The child loves chocolate. Now convert it into the passive voice. Chocolate is loved by the child. Chocolate is loved by the child. Full stop. That's it. So friends, this is that simple. Now, what is happening here, friends? The child is the subject. The child loves to eat, that means chocolate. So the child loves chocolate. So the child is the subject in the sentence, loves is the verb, and the loves chocolate. So chocolate is the object. Now this is the active voice. In the case of passive voice, if you want to convert this sentence into the passive voice, chocolate, which was the object, the chocolate will now become the subject. And you have to begin the sentence with chocolate. So you will say, chocolate is loved by the child. So chocolate is loved by the child. So now chocolate becomes the subject because it is in the beginning. So chocolate becomes the subject. Chocolate is loved by the child. So chocolate is the subject, is loved by the child is the rest of the sentence, which actually is the predicate. Friends, a sentence has two parts, subject and predicate. So chocolate is subject and the rest of it is loved by the child is predicate. Now, that is a conception about sentence. I will do sentence also with you later on, don't worry. Okay, so friends, what I was telling you, this is so interesting. The child loves chocolate. The child is the subject. The child loves chocolate. This is active voice. Chocolate is loved by the child. Passive voice. It is as simple as that. So friends, don't forget and don't be scared of grammar and active and passive voice. It is so simple. And friends, what I wanted to tell you, active and passive voice. Okay, now after you have done all these examples with me, now I'll give you the definition, and now you'll see, you'll be able to relate and you'll be able to understand why the definition is like that. Now, what is active voice? A sentence is said to be in active voice when the subject of the sentence is the doer of the action. Yes, the child loves chocolate. So the child is the subject and the child is only the doer of the action. I wrote the letter yesterday. I am the subject. I wrote the letter. So I is the subject. So I'm the doer of the action. I wrote the letter. So the focus is on the subject. I wrote the letter yesterday. So I is in the beginning. So then the sentence is said to be in the active voice. And in the case of passive voice, what happens? The focus is actually on the recipient of the action. The action was done by somebody, but it was received by someone else. The focus is on the recipient of the action, or the focus is on the action in case of passive voice. The letter was written by me yesterday. Now, if in the passive voice, the focus is not on me, the focus is on the letter, the recipient of the action. The letter was written by me yesterday. Yes, like he threw a ball at me. So, a ball was thrown at me by him. Yes, or recipient of the action. Just now I told you, he gave me a book. So here, he gave me a book. So he is the subject and I am the recipient because he gave the book to me. So I was given a book by him. That is the passive voice. So the recipient of the action becomes the focus and it becomes actually the subject. The recipient of the action becomes the subject in case of the passive voice. In case of active voice, the subject is the doer of the action. In case of passive voice, so in case of active voice, the subject is the doer of the action. Yes, he threw the ball at me. He threw the ball at me. Or you can say, I wrote the letter yesterday. The child loves chocolate. These are all active voice sentences. In case of passive voice, the recipient of the action becomes important, or the action becomes important, and that will become the subject now. Yes, chocolate is loved by the child. Yes, a ball was thrown at me by him, or the letter was written. The letter was written by me yesterday, or I gave you another sentence, he gave me a book. I was given a book. So I am the recipient of the action. So I will come in the beginning in case of passive voice. So I was given a book by him. So friends, this is so easy and so interesting. So this is what happens in case of active voice and passive voice. So active voice, just now I mentioned that the subject is the doer of the action. In passive voice, the recipient of the action or the action is given more importance and they become the subject. So that is the difference between active and passive voice, and it is so interesting. Now a small quiz for you. I'll give you a few sentences, friends. They will be in the active voice. You have to convert them into the passive voice. Yes? So I will end today's session with this small quiz. Now friends, before giving you this quiz, I want to mention one thing. In day-to-day conversation, usually we make use of active voice. He threw the ball at me. I wrote a letter yesterday to my mother. So we use active voice in day-to-day conversation. Yes, we rarely use passive voice. But we use passive voice in formal conversations. When in the case of formal conversations or in the case of formal documentation, that is whenever you are engaged in formal communication, formal is official communication, then passive voice is used. Especially when you are writing a report, an official report. You are preparing some official document. Yes, there passive voice is used. Suppose you need to write a report on some event that took place recently at your institution maybe. Then how will you say? Yes, you will say that the program began at 10 o'clock. Okay, the program began at 10 o'clock in the morning. Alright, the program was begun at 10 o'clock. That also you can say. If you say was begun, it is passive. The flag was hoisted by the principal of the college. The college flag was hoisted by the principal, and the welcome speech was delivered by the principal at around 10:30 a.m. So it was delivered by the principal. The flag was hoisted by the principal. So you have seen, so we are using passive voice in case of official documentation, in case of formal communication. But when you are talking informally with your friends, with your family, with everybody around you, usually in day-to-day conversation, we use active voice. Otherwise, when you are writing down something, especially maybe you are preparing a report and all, then I'm not saying that active voice is not used. It is also used, but passive voice is given a lot of importance, because whenever you're writing, when you're a report, when you're documenting something, the focus is more on the action actually. What happened? A welcome speech was delivered. Prizes were distributed by the chief guest at the function. Prizes were distributed because you're reporting. The focus is on the action that took place. So prizes were distributed to the winners by the chief guest at the function. That is how you write in passive voice usually when you are, writing an official report or in case of formal communication. But in informal communication, in day-to-day life, in daily conversation, we definitely use active voice. Yes, friends? Now, so friends, that was what I wanted to tell you, and now I would like to wind up today's session with a small quiz. I'll give you some sentences in active voice and you will have to convert them into the passive. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it and then I will give you the answer as well. So the first sentence is, she told me a story yesterday. Listen to the sentence carefully. She told me a story yesterday. Convert this sentence into the passive voice. Yes, you can do it. Hurry up. I'm waiting, friends. Please, I know you can do it. Listen to it carefully. She told me a story yesterday. Yes, I hope you guessed it right. The answer is, I was told a story by her yesterday. I was told a story by her yesterday. Okay, friends? Alright, now let me give you another question and I hope this time you'll be able to convert it into the passive voice. Yes? The little boy kicked the ball in the ground. The little boy kicked the ball in the ground. So this is an active voice, convert it into the passive voice. So let me give you the answer. The ball in the ground was kicked by the little boy. The ball in the ground was kicked by the little boy. All right. Then, my mother cooked my favorite dish last night. My mother cooked my favorite dish last night. Convert this into the passive voice. Yes, come on, you can do it. Yes, friends. All right, time is up. So what did I tell you? My mother cooked my favorite dish last night. My favorite dish was cooked by my mother last night. My favorite dish was cooked by my mother last night. So this is how you convert it into the passive voice. Now one sentence last. This will be the last sentence and let me see whether you can do it. Now convert this sentence into the passive voice. Post the letter. post the letter. This sentence is a little different. It is a sort of command. Yes, it is an imperative sentence. I will tell you what is an imperative sentence, don't worry. Sentences wherein you give commands, you make requests and all, they're called imperative sentences. So this is a sentence a little different, post the letter. So how do you convert this into the passive voice? Yes, friends, come on. Just guess at least. But yeah, I know it's a little different, so I'll give that to you. Let the letter be posted. That is the passive form. Yes, friends, what is the passive form? Let the letter be posted. Yes, I told you that, this is the last sentence, but I'm so sorry, friends. One more sentence I'll give you, and I promise you this will be the, final sentence. Please give me a glass of water. This is a request. How do you convert it into passive voice? Please give me a glass of water. This sentence, this is also an imperative sentence. How do you convert it into passive voice? Think and tell me. All right, I'll tell you. You are requested to give me a glass of water. This is an imperative sentence and this was a request. I told someone, please give me a glass of water. Now this is in the active voice. Please give me a glass of water. Now this particular sentence, if I want to convert it into the passive voice, then I have to say, you are requested to give me a glass of water. So you are requested to like and share this video. Anyway, friends, so it was so nice talking to you about active and passive voice, and I hope you really liked today's video. Hope it was informative. Friends, use all kinds of active voice and passive voice constructions in your day-to-day language, and it'll be interesting. See if you can convert any kind of sentence which is in the active voice, see if you can convert it to the passive voice. That'll be so interesting. That'll help you to learn English even faster. Yes, so friends, hope you liked today's session. Take care. See you next time. Bye.